Super 2 is around the corner. Is Bubba Chandler going to get called? Is it going to be somebody else? Who knows? Going to have to wait and find out on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we are your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Ane, your wonderful, greatest host of all time. Tom's not here, so I get to say it. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed already, please click that bell below, subscribe to the channel, and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you are, please, one, subscribe to the channel, and two, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps out the show. And if you want a little bit more than what we offer on this 30-minute podcast, check us out on Subtext and become a member of the Diamond Club. I'll get into that and what that is in the second half of the show. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. But all right, let's get in it. Let's go through it. I wanted to make this as short as possible, but here's what we're doing today. We are going to be pretty much rolling through prospects and guys that you need to stash coming into the season, guys coming back from IL and things like that. And I'm going to start off the show with, 5 guys that are sitting on the IL that I think are, more relevant right now, guys you do need to stash. And then we're going to roll into the prospects on the back half since, like I mentioned, in the open, Super 2 is around the corner and it can happen at any time. And then, hey, contractually, these guys can be called up and they're ready to go and the teams get another year of control, and that's what they want. So it's time to really start looking at prospects, and these next couple of weeks are going to be important regarding this episode in total. So let's get into it. Let's dive in, and let's start off with some IL players. Let's talk about Justin Martinez, who just hit the IL not too long ago. He unfortunately is dealing with a shoulder injury. He underwent an MRI on his right shoulder and shown no structural damage, which is great, So what we're seeing from Martinez is maybe part of his, I would say this no success this year is his velocity is been lower than normal in his past 2 appearances, and subsequently was placed on the 15-day IL. Thursday, due to his right shoulder inflammation, the righty received good news, and Saturday, however, it appears he has avoided serious injuries. Martinez is eligible to be activated from the IL on May 16th. So it's not clear if he'll be ready to resume pitching in games at that point. So it's really just a matter of what's going on. What is he going to do? But, let's talk about this now. I've talked about the news. Let's talk about, what is Justin Martinez for you? Is he actually going to pose any valuable value? Let's talk about it, right? And that's kind of the key part. So far this year, he has 3 saves in 10 innings and really just has not been wonderful, in my opinion. He has an ERA of 2.70 and a FIP of 4.57 and a WHIP of 1.1, which, the production stats versus the underlying stats are a little bit different, right? Like, I just don't think he's actually pitching that good. You look under the hood, fastball velocity, even though it sits at 100 miles an hour, he has no movement on it, and his off-speed pitches are flat, and so is his breaking ball. Now, look, he's not getting guys to chase. He is getting guys to whiff, though, and getting strikeouts, but not enough. And, you look at just the underlying stuff, like barreling, hard of contact, and ground balls. He's actually doing the right thing in these limited stints. Now, I just don't know if he's actually going to, one, be able to produce or have the opportunity, and 2, really just take advantage. I'm a little bit turned off by him right now. He hasn't done much this year. I mean, there's guys with way more, we call it innings, and way more saves. And it's just, I don't really know what to do with him. Look, if you have no opportunity to go out, there's nobody out on the waivers, and you don't have a clear closer or a good closer 2 or 3, then yeah, you're adding Justin Martinez. You're not dropping him either. You have to hold on to him, unfortunately, unless you're in a really shallow league. Then, it is what it is. But Justin Martinez is somebody that, quite honestly, you need to add him and stash him just based off of that. It's just depending on, timeline. May 16th may be obtainable, but if we hear something else, he's going to be a quick pivot to the waiver wires again. Right now, I'm adding him, and I'm kind of just going to stash him until then. Only if I'm in that position. I'm not adding him if I need it. If he's my closer 4 or 5, I don't really care that. I'm just going to ignore him. I'm not clogging up my IL for him. Let's move on. Ronaldo Lopez of the Atlanta Braves. So Ronaldo Lopez is also dealing with the shoulder. It's a year of shoulders. Lopez underwent arthroscopic shoulder surgery on Tuesday, which this was back on April 8th. This is the last update I have, and will be shut down for 12 weeks. So we probably still have another 8 weeks to go. I'm recording this on May 5th, day before. So, we haven't even hit the 4-week mark technically. So we have another 8 weeks probably after All-Star break, I think is when we'll probably see him. The surgery terms to clean up and the procedure by Brian Snicker, I apologize. Lopez will be reevaluated in 12 weeks. So it doesn't even seem like they're actually going to have him pitch in 12 weeks. It's more of, hey, you're going to be evaluated. If the doctor says, hey, you're good, then you can start pitching, which then is another 4 weeks. So August. So he's more of a watch list guy, right? When it comes to Ronaldo Lopez, yes, he had a great season last year. Looked awesome. Honestly, you can't even hate on the guy. But him dealing with the shoulder injury really just is kind of like a watch list, wait and see. We get some positive news in the next couple weeks. That's when I might start thinking about adding him. But definitely can't add him till June, but a guy you want to keep on the radar. Ronaldo Lopez is definitely somebody that can definitely boost your rotation. It's just a matter of when is that going to be, if at all. That's also another possibility. So you just don't want to, clog up your EIL spots without having to know what timelines actually look like. If he's back, I'm adding him. That's essentially just where I'm at with it. So Ronaldo Lopez is somebody, keep on watch list, set some alerts, whether it's Bleacher Report, Sleeper, whatever you can set up for like individual alerts. I would do that for all instances, whether it's, any kind of stage, so you can kind of get any kind of update regarding Ronaldo Lopez. He's somebody I'm going to be paying attention to, and if I can get him on my in my rotation, I totally will. Coming up next, I'm not coming up next. My next guy here, Walker Buehler of the Boston Red Sox, unfortunately just hit the IL. Another shoulder. Who guessed that, right? Buehler said that dealing with his minor bruises in his right shoulder is hopefully for a minimal length and stay on the 15-day IL. Boston placed Buehler on injury list Friday, but had been experiencing discomfort in his shoulder since April 15th. Started against the Rays, Buehler proceeded to make his next 2 turns through the rotation and submitted a quality start on both occasions. But since the shoulder issue hasn't completely gone away, he didn't want to push through the injury and have more of an issue, which is good. After recent MRI, he didn't clear Buehler of any structural damage to his shoulder. He has been cleared to resume playing catch this week on as per MLB.com. If all goes well, the initial throwing session, he could be cleared to work from the mound and by the end of the week and be made to become off the IL when first eligible May 14th. So I noticed he's been getting dropped and on a lot of platforms, and that's key. So he's a hold for me in pretty much every possibility, because if it is the short stint, he's been good otherwise, right? He's 55% owned, which is key, and he's dropping every day, down another 1% today on May 5th. I wonder what it will be tomorrow. And that is the key part. So keep watching your waivers. One man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's kind of the thing. So just watch your transaction lists, things like that, to see if he does hit the waivers, because then I'm adding him literally everywhere. He's had a rough start. His first 2 starts were absolutely pitiful against St. Louis and the Rangers, but then followed that up with Toronto with 7 Ks and a sub-2 ERA through 6, lit up Tampa Bay through 5, lit up the White Sox, of course, but I can go and do that. And then still handled Cleveland on his last outing when he did go down to the injury. So Buehler looks like he's on his way back. And obviously we're going to see some ups and downs just based off, 1, the shoulder, 2, he's still working his way back from TJ and things like that. So, with Buehler, I think already showing promise that he's been able to come out here and dominate already. I'm definitely looking to add him and stash him. So add him if he's out there. Stash, keep him on your IL, and don't drop him if you have him, because I think Buehler is going to be somebody that we need to hold on to, and he's going to be a value going into this year for the rest of the year once he does return, as long as he can stay healthy. That is a key part of things, obviously. he's been able to suppress hard contact, which has been not bananas at 86.3 miles an hour. You guys to chase 30% of the rip, but just need to get a little bit more whiffs and Ks, but not walking guys, really, really just zapping hard contact and producing ground balls. These are all things that are good. Just would like to see a little bit more movement on the breaking and off speed pitches. Bueller is somebody that I think is on a positive direction, and I think that may not be the elite talent he was in the past, but he may be an elite talent off the waivers that can be a real difference maker for your team. So add Bueller now and stash him immediately. Coming up next, we got more guys. We got two more guys I think you really need to stash, and then we're going to get into, some prospects and talk about, possibilities of them getting called up after the Super 2 and maybe when they're going to possibly be called up at all. So that's all coming up next. And okay, ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Every weekend between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track, and I do all the time. That's where Monarch Money comes in, and it comes in and is your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app; it is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spendings in one place, which is truly key. So stop managing your money and start building wealth. Honestly, look, when I started using Monarch Money, I realized how much I did spend on food delivery, which now it doesn't change, but at least I'm smarter about it. And I could say, we could probably not do this and eat some leftovers, right? And I could save a little bit of money, and managing my money with my wife has been a little bit better. Hey, why can't we do this? Well, you spent $8,000 on Amazon the other day. So no, we cannot order any food. So at least you could see that, which makes things great. So it takes the stress off my back. So take the control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Hey, you're new, and you're not aware what the subtext is, let me tell you about it. Essentially, it's a great place to get more information out of us, right? You want to, know who to prioritize in waiver wires. We got you. We're going to give you rankings on there. You want to know who you should pick up, or have a little bit more insight into the stats and highlights that we think were important from the episode. So we're going to get it. And if you have a question for us, you're able to ask us a question. We get back to you within 24 hours. And, we're able to help you with trades, transactions, add drops, all those kind of stuff that, you really don't get that personalized information on just this 30-minute podcast. So check us out. Links in the description below. You get a free 2 weeks upon joining. So why not? Let's do this. All right. Let's get back in the episode though. Let's talk a little baseball. Let's talk about Ivan Herrera. Started off like a bat out of hell. Was looking real good. And then things kind of just went a little south, I would say. Unfortunately, was dealing with the injury and, is what it is. He's dealing with a knee injury, though. The first shoulder injury, not to be a shoulder injury here. So he's already back in the AAA minors working through his rehab game and already clubbed a home run. So this is good news. It looks like he probably will play out the rest of the week in the minors, maybe get activated over the weekend, if not probably Monday. We'll see. He's just got to keep building up and working on, his defense and his workload that way before he can rejoin the Cardinals. So let's see. But the activation is soon. I think I'm adding him. Let me see what his ownership percentage is, because that's really just a key here of whether he's going to be, somebody you really want to target, or should I even be talking about? But Ivan Herrera is about 46% owned, so he's out there in over 50% of leagues. That's a key part right there. So let's go ahead and add him. Literally, I think that we're going to get something different coming off the aisle coming off the waivers this time with a catcher. Another one that is coming out of left field for us, and I think that, hey, if he's out there, you're dealing with the issues of the underperforming high-end catchers. Well, time to strap in and put somebody else in. I think Ivan Herrera is going to be somebody that's going to be really great to do that with. So, yeah. Next up, we got Christian Incarnacion-Strand. Now, he's working off another injury, but this is back injuries. This is something that's kind of challenged him, his kind of on and off his whole career. But what kept him out of last season was getting hit in the hand and then having to get season-ending surgery. So the two aren't related. I'm not going to, go and say, oh my God, he's, injury ridden yet, but, he's still a young career. But so far, this is the update from Reds manager Terry. I don't want to say his last name because I'm going to butcher it. Said that Encarnacion-Strand's back. He's hitting off the tee already on Monday, which is great. It's the next step in his progression for Encarnacion-Strand, who was given an epidural last week as he works his way back from lower back inflammation. The infielder has several items he still needs to check off the list before he can return and be cleared, which is fine. He's eligible on today as I'm recording, but obviously he's not going to be activated this week. But if he's still hitting off the tee and there's no setbacks, by the end of this week, I could totally see him, getting in, rehab games and then back by next week. So I'm definitely trying to, stash him. For starters, outside of the batting average category for him, he's actually looked pretty stout. And I think that, I will say that I don't really believe buying into the really terrible batting average. He was making good contact, and I think his back was playing more up than we're actually aware of. He was probably fighting through little things. He had 57 at bats, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 bombs, 5 ribs. And, obviously the rest is history, but you look under the hood and, it just doesn't look like a guy that is really performing at the best of his abilities because of his, essentially who he was in the minors. Like his average exit velocity was way down, his slug and all that stuff, hard contact and things like that just don't look like the guy that we were promised. And I think that the back is really playing into more than we expected. So I'm willing to add him. He's going to be out there. So I actually have him in a boatload of leagues because, I do believe in the talent. He was one of my favorite guys to target as an IL player this year. I mean, as a not an IL, silly me, a utility bat or a first bench bat. He's available in 16. He's only owned in 16% of the leagues. So I say go out there and add him because if he comes back, if he hits like I think he will, he's going to be a serious impact to your team. The power's there. The average is going to be decent around like 260 to 270. The runs and ribbies from that team, I think, is going to really stand for him. He just has all the right things lining up for him to be successful. And therefore, I want a piece of the pie. And Christian Encarnacion-Strand is somebody that you do need to own because the upside well outweighs the risk because he's essentially free 99. And if he doesn't pan out, you drop him like he's hot, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So stash him immediately. But let's switch over. Let's get into our prospects, right? And I teased him at the top, and that's Bubba Chandler of the Pittsburgh Pirates. He is one of the most anticipated pitching prospects this year. My second favorite pitching prospect this year. Obviously, Andrew Painter is my one. But let's talk about Mr. Bubba Chandler. So far this season in the minors, 25 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts, a 1.42 ERA with a .67 whip, looking absolutely stout and looking just like he normally does. The dude is well over a K per inning, is great with control, has posted a really good ERA the last 2 years, and is just picking up right where he left off. Now, look, the kid is a true high-end pitching prospect for me. 60 grade fastball, 50 out of 55 slider, changeup is sitting at 55 out of 70, and his command is a 40 out of 50. Dude is just looking like he is awesome. And here's a little note. Chandler's command and slider consistency are pretty raw, but his athleticism and background, allows him to have such great projections behind him. He is amazing in those regards, and he's a big boy, 6'3", 218 pounds. I think that he's going to be somebody that is going to be able to dominate out there. When do I think he's going to be called up is the next question, right? Because that whole first bit was, hey, who is this guy? Why are we highlighting him? Well, yeah, he's awesome. Now, when do I think he's actually going to be up? I could be any day now. I think Super 2 is going to come in wherever that contractual day is. There's no actual real day of when it is. But second it is for the MLB, he is most likely going to be up. I don't think there's a reason to keep him down other than if there's another, what do you call it, contractual thing that can help them get another year of control. Or maybe there is, some more development they want to do in either his command or get a little bit more movement on his pitches or something. Then I could see it. But, the way his numbers are posting, it doesn't look like he's working on anything. Or if he is, he's just doing a great job. But normally when you see a pitcher with higher ERAs in the minors, they're usually working on something that usually is a higher end pitching prospect. So we're seeing good numbers. I think it's just a matter of time. I'm definitely stashing him at this point. There is no reason not to. Mr. Bubba Chandler is owned. Let's see here real quick. 27% of leagues. So he's out there in, 73% of leagues. Needs to be stashed, I think, at this point, wholeheartedly almost everywhere. Because you're going to be really upset if you miss out on him because he's going to be something special. Coming up next, we're going to finish out these prospects here. I got, 4 more for you. That's all coming up next. There's nothing better than just catching an MLB game live. Honestly, really, there is nothing better. The crack of a bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of the ballpark food and hot dogs. Yeah, buddy. And if you're looking for, to go to a last minute game, just go to Game Time. It makes getting tickets even easier than before, right? With last minute deals, all in one pricing, and lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game time gets closer, meaning you can score incredible deals. I recently grabbed last minute tickets for a game at Game Time and had unbeatable prices, which meant more money for food and yeah, this says merch. It's for other things. It comes in a cup. But anyway, I truly love it. I actually been using Game Time long before I've been here with Locked On. It's been one of my favorite apps to use, and all this is truly true. This makes finding the best deals effortlessly, and it filters out all the fluff and highlights the top discounts in the stadium, which it truly does. It just picks great tickets for you every time. You get a view from your seat, which is great. You're making sure you're not sitting behind that pole. And quite honestly, you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices are guaranteed. All right, let's get back in things. And our next prospect up is Joe Boyle. He is an interesting prospect. Let's get his stuff up here. So Joe Boyle is a prospect for the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know much about him, so I just want to preface that, but he is somebody worth highlighting. This is one of Dom's picks he sent over to Matt. You got to talk about it today. And I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. So it seems that he's already been called up. But he's somebody that is obviously one of the guys that you just need to add right now. Before getting the call this year, 26 innings pitched in the minors, 33 strikeouts, 0.73 ERA with a whip of 0.484. Those are all great numbers. Comes up to the bigs, has, I would say, 1 start, 5 innings, no earned runs, 7 Ks, and a 0.4 whip. Like, these are numbers that you kind of got to be impressed with, but also get excited about because, hey, you saw great production in the minors and then you see him translate to the bigs. Now, yes, it's a small sample size, but it's something that I'm willing to take advantage of and add and see where this goes. I don't think I'm going to be that patient of a guy with this kind of with him, but I am going to kind of see if I can roll him out there and see how long I can ride this wave. If Boyle comes out here and just does his thing, he did, why not, right? Why pass up on that? 60 out of 70 on the fastball in Fangraphs rating, slider 60 to 60, and curveball 60 to 60. The only thing is his command is a little bit on the lower end side of a 20-30. So we'll see what exactly is going on with him. I'm kind of just I'm intrigued. I want to see more. I want him on. I want to see what I can get out of him. Let's see if I can get the start real quick. He's currently down, but I think we'll get the call back up again soon. That was against Atlanta too, so we'll see. The fact that they brought him up is intriguing. I want to just see him get a little bit more here. Any day now, just any day. If they already brought him up once, it's just an injury away. We'll see. Definitely stash him immediately. Let's move on. Let's talk about Noah Schultz of the Chicago White Sox. Now, this kid I do know about. I'm a fan. I am a fan. Let's put it that way. Noah Schultz stands at 6'10", 240 pounds, so behemoth of a man. So far this year, he has 23 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts, 3.42 ERA with a 1.69 whip. Now, This is out of characteristic for him because he has been solid last year in 2024, 88 innings pitched, 115 strikeouts, a 2.24 ERA with a whip of 0.98. Now, I'm sure they're working on something with him. That is just not his story here. But I will point out something else. He hasn't given up a home run yet this season, and that's a key part there. The strikeouts are still good, over a K per inning. I like that. ERA isn't atrocious either. So it's not like this is a bad start. It's just a couple starts, maybe like one or two blowups. I don't have the specifics, but the dude is really good. Now, he does have a little bit of warts because he has dealt with injuries in the past, but hey, so like in dynasty leagues and things like that, that is where, we may want to be a little bit more concerned. But the talent is just really there. And I think that he is going to be MLB ready very soon. So I want to get him on my team. And I think that this year is the year. It's just a matter of when. I think he's more second half, but he's somebody we need to bring up, set alerts for, et cetera, to just stay aware of Noah Schultz, because he's somebody that brings some serious potential here as long as he can stay healthy. 45 out of 50 fastball, 70 out of 80 slider, change up 30 out of 40, cutter 40 out of 50, and his command is a 45 out of 60. The dude is just, an interesting guy. He's dominating like crazy. I'm super excited to just see what this kid can do for us. I am 100% adding, not adding this minute, but maybe by the end or middle of this month, I'm going to be adding him and stashing him, because I wouldn't be surprised if right after the All-Star break, he's up and then he's just making a difference for my team. Don't care about the team he's on. Again, we're talking high-end draft picks, and he's, I'm not drafting him because he plays for the White Sox. I'm going to draft him much later, but waiver wire pickup, yeah, I'm going to add him everywhere I can. Now let's move on. Let's talk about Cade Horton of the Chicago Cubs, another one of my favorite pitching prospects this year. Love this kid. He stands at 6'1", 211 pounds, and he is really, really, really good. Quite honestly, another really good pitching prospect. 29 innings pitched, 33 strikeouts, a 1.24 ERA with a 0.86 WHIP. He is really good. He has a lot of good stuff going for him. 45 out of 45 fastball, slider sitting at 60 out of 60, curveball 50 out of 50, changeup 50 out of 60, command 40 out of 50. It's so much fun. I am just super excited to see what he can do. What I'm reading now is that they're saying with Imanaga going down and other pitchers, he should be the next man up, and that is a key part. So add him immediately and stash him, because he gets the call. I think that we're going to have some good production from him. Maybe not like super elite, superstar warp, but somebody that I think needs to be added and can see some really good transitioning from minors to bigs. Obviously, every pitcher comes with their warts and nobody's guaranteed, but I think that Cade Horton should be added because the potential, the production, everything this year is just screaming, hey, he could be really good. Add him immediately. This last guy is already up. It's Logan Henderson. And for me with Logan Henderson, I don't really know much about him either. I'm going to be honest. This was a Dom pick. I do like what I've seen though out of him so far. In the minors and things like that, just checking out who he was before the show. 26 innings pitched in the minors, 35 strikeouts, a 2.42 ERA, and a 0.96 WHIP. So I like that a lot when it comes to him. Right now, he pitched one game this year against the Athletics. Back on April 20th, was sent back down right after, but it was a good showing. 6 innings, got the win, 9 Ks, a 1.5 ERA with a 0.67 WHIP and a quality start. Everything he's doing has translated in that one matchup. Now, yes, it is the Athletics, but they've been good. It's not like the Athletics of the past. So he definitely is a force in those regards. And the 9 Ks in his first outing, I don't care who it is, that's still impressive. That's still better bats than you've gone up against in your entire career. And you're going out and doing it. The fastball is graded at 55 out of 55, curveball 45 out of 50, changeup 70 out of 70, cutter 40 out of 40, command 50 out of 50. The dude can place the ball anywhere he wants. It seems like I like it. I want a piece of this pie. I want to see where this journey takes us. Out of all the pitchers outside of Bubba Chandler, he seems like I have the most paperwork on, and I can kind of see, okay, maybe you can repeat that. Maybe we can get something out of him. So I'm going to add him. Then it's going to be Cade Horton for me, and then Noah Schultz, because I think he's going to be later in the season. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. Most importantly, stash Cade and Bubba immediately. That's pretty much how I'm summing this up. Guys, look, sorry for a little bit of rough kind of go around with this. Essentially, it's just been a day. But I got you. We're going to be coming back tomorrow, just Dom, and then we'll both be back together on Thursday, wrap out and round out the week. But guys, have a great rest of your day. Super excited to just bring in this week with you. Can't believe we're in week 6. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review. And when you're done, check out our boy Solier at Locked On MLB. Peace out.